Hey everyone, this is Reviews at Ryan, and today on the channel I'm going to be doing another review roundup. I plan to do one other review roundup after this second one. I have 4 movies this time that I checked out in theaters. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into what I've seen lately. And also, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, give the video a like, and comment below, have you seen any of these films? And if you haven't, let me know. Are you going to check them out? So the first movie that I checked out was on November the 19th, and that is The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And this film was directed by Francis Lawrence, and he's done a few other films like Hunger Games 2, 3, and 4, I Am Legend, and also Water for Elephants. And he's also done some music videos for some high-profile pop stars like Lady Gaga, Britney Spears, and Jennifer Lopez. And this film, it stars Rachel Zegler, Tom Blythe, Viola Davis, and also Peter Dinklage. The film is about President Snow before he becomes the evil guy that we know in the present day films. And in this one, he is mentoring a girl that he falls in love with, and it is the 10th annual Hunger Games. Now, this film, I really did enjoy this film. I love this franchise. I love Jennifer Lawrence in the original 4 films. And in this one, obviously, it is a bunch of different characters. But I do love that this time you have the Hunger Games in this arena. And there's just a lot of cool action scenes. Snow's character, he takes a little bit to really get into that evil guy that we know. And this film, it is 2.5 hours. I think personally with this film, it does a really good job visually, and you can really tell with this director and just other things that he's directed in the past, he's very good at capturing visuals, capturing action, and making a story seem very interesting. And this story here is very interesting. Rachel Zegler is a very likable character. I know in real life, a lot of people do not like her, and I completely understand. But in this film, she does very well, and she has a very good singing voice, which she already had in West Side Story. So she does a good job still singing here and really making that character come alive. Now, Snow here, like I said, he takes a little bit to develop. We're kind of feeling, I guess, kind of sorry for him in this film. And the actual character, he actually shifts later in the film. And half of this film is just the Hunger Games itself and sort of the things that he does to really kind of cheat his way within these games. Obviously, falling in love with Rachel Zegler's character. That is one portion of the film. And then you have a second half portion of this film where it really takes a tonal shift. And I think with that part of the movie, people can get really lost in it because there's a part where the Hunger Games is actually over. And then when you get into that tonal shift, a lot of people are like, okay, so what else is there really with the movie? But at the same time, at that portion in the film, we really don't see Tom Blythe's character really come to life as to the evil Snow that we know into the present day Hunger Games films. Viola Davis and Peter Dinklage are also very good in this film. Now, Viola Davis, man, when she plays any kind of evil kind of character, any kind of powerful character, she just nails her performance. And in this film, she does a phenomenal job. There are parts in this film where certain things are happening to certain characters and where they're actually going to suffer. And I was just like, damn, I would not want to mess with this woman. And she does a phenomenal job. And if she was nominated for an Oscar, that would be awesome because she does a great job here. Now, back to the portion of the second half with Snow's character. Now, once we get to that tonal shift and we really get to see how Snow really becomes this evil person and just certain things that he does, and then this love story that is supposedly being concluded. Now, this film, it has kind of an anticlimactic ending to it, which it does follow the book, so it's not like it's something made up or they just wanted to have some effect to it. But I do feel in the second half of this film, they could have easily actually had this in 2 parts. So if I'm going with negatives, I definitely would say that this probably should have been 2 parts, definitely to develop Snow's character more. And I would give a score of this film a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to own it on 4K, and I would recommend this film. The second film that I watched is a horror film, and I did a double feature on November 19th. The film is called Thanksgiving. This is a horror film directed by Eli Roth, and he's done films like Cabin Fever, Hostel, Knock Knock, and The Green Inferno. And I have always loved Eli Roth as a horror director, and I was very excited to check out this film. Now, the film stars Patrick Dempsey. I don't know any of the other actors or actresses. I did look them up, and I've never heard of any of the films they've been in. They've mostly been in like B-flick kind of films. The film is about after a Black Friday riot goes wrong and ends in tragedy, a mysterious, inspired Thanksgiving killer wearing a John Carver mask is going around and picking off people one at a time, and he is leaving no leftovers. Now, this film, it was a very fun film. The opening scene is a scene where it's kind of like a Walmart where everybody's waiting for the Black Friday deals and just the doors to open of the store, and everybody is going nuts. They're being rude. They're cussing. There is a ton of cursing in this movie, and it's a very much exaggerated scene. Honestly, it's very accurate from a few years ago when Black Friday shopping was a thing on Thanksgiving. I mean, there's tragedies that happen like this, fights that break out, and unfortunately in this film, a few people die from this tragedy. And like I said, it's a very well done scene, and it's a little bit outdated now because obviously we just don't have that now in America, but I thought they did a really good job of opening the film. The kills in this film, they are done very well. There are lots of different kills in here, and the way that they do them are so creative, and I like that they actually incorporate a lot of Thanksgiving things, like using a thermometer to actually measure the temperature of something, using an oven, and just making the film feel very creative. There's a lot of dark humor in this film, and I was just laughing my butt off with a lot of this different humor. I sat in an audience of about 10 people, and everybody was dead silent. So I was having a blast, and I don't know if everybody else was having a blast like I was, but I was really enjoying just the mystery and trying to figure out who the killer was, and I was not right. So sometimes with these kind of killer, kind of mystery kind of films, I feel like I know who it's going to be, and, I have a character or two, but I actually did not know that the character that actually is behind these killings, I just didn't think it would be that person. Now, the acting in this film, it could feel kind of B-flickish. There is some parts in here where the dialogue is just straight up goofy, but I think it's actually done on purpose. And the way that this film is trying to make this just be a fun kind of film definitely has that grindhouse kind of feel. And definitely Eli Roth is trying to make this kind of film. So I was definitely on board with the acting here, even though it wasn't the best at times, and obviously it was done on purpose. The characters here are very one-dimensional, and don't expect to really fall in love with any of them because there's not a lot of character development here. There are characters that get killed off. You're not going to have a lot of feeling towards them, and I definitely didn't have any feelings towards most of them for the most part. I also was laughing at certain things when a particular character gets killed and the guy's like, well, what do I do? What do I do? The person's dead. There's nothing you can do, buddy. Laughing at like little dialogue jokes in this film. I just had a blast, and I think overall this film did a really good job of just creating the Thanksgiving spirit, the decorations. I really felt like I was in Massachusetts. Now, I never visited Massachusetts, but I definitely felt like they did a really good job of just incorporating the Thanksgiving spirit. And we don't have really any Thanksgiving movies really like yearly, so it was great to actually get this film. And I'm really happy that they're going to be doing a sequel to this film, as I'm really looking forward to what they're going to be doing with this killer and the John Carver mask. And what do they have in store for a second film? As far as the score for this film, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's a fun enough time. It doesn't have the best dialogue or the best acting, and you're not going to get good character development. But if you're looking for really good kills, having a good spirit of Thanksgiving, and overall a film that can feel kind of schlocky at times, but also you could have a really good time with the humor, you'll enjoy this film. The third film that I saw was Trolls Band Together, or Trolls 3, and this is a kids animation film. It's directed by Walt Dorn, and he's done the first two Trolls films, and also Tim Heights. Now this is basically his directorial debut. He's done a Trolls holiday special, but that's all he has done. It stars Anna Kendrick, Justin Timberlake, Camila Cabello, Kid Cudi, Daveed Diggs, and many other stars. Also NSYNC is in this film as well. The plot is Poppy discovers that Branch was in a boy band called Brozone, and when his brother Floyd is actually kidnapped, he reunites with all the bandmates, and they have to go rescue him. Now, when I saw that they were coming out with a Trolls 3, I immediately thought, what else can they really do in this franchise? I wasn't the biggest fan of Trolls 2, even though I do own the film. I really loved that first Trolls film the best. And going into this film, the fact that I had a really bad day, I was just really hoping that this would be a fun film and hopefully not a stinker going into it. I went on a weeknight and there was only 2 other people in the theater. My wife went with me and we had a great time. Now this film, it definitely feels like a musical. There's a lot of musical numbers in here. A lot of the songs are pop songs, and because there is a lot of stars in here, I think that it helps the film really shine in the musical aspect. The story is nothing too special, as it does show a lot in the trailer, with obviously Branch having a brother and also Poppy having a long lost sister as well. The colors, the animation, it definitely is bumped up. You can definitely tell from the first and second film that they've really bumped up the animation. They have some 2D animation and also 3D animation as well, but the colors are as vibrant as ever, and they do such a good job of actually portraying these colors on screen and that atmosphere of just building these lands that they go to. And there is villains in here that obviously capture the brother of Branch, and that is our main plot of this film. And those guys, they basically are pop stars. They are using the power of this troll to really just elevate their music and elevate their concerts. They're not the craziest villains. They're not like the best villains. You know, there's heart to them in a way, which I really did like seeing. And of course, there's some lessons to be learned here. And just, you know, there is some callbacks to how, you know, musicians could be frauds. Like they're not writing their own music, or they're just not performing, you know, they're lip singing, that kind of thing. And this film, it definitely goes into that, into the music industry, which I really did actually enjoy. And I just enjoyed also that we have some of the old characters in here, like King Peppy and his wife, and just all the different characters that we get to see. Tiny Diamond with Kenan Thompson, he's always funny, and he has his funny lines. He has a funny line in the trailer where, you know, he talks about, hey, do I have a long lost brother as well? And it had me laughing. And there were definitely moments in here where it really had me laughing. And then there were other moments that really make me, you know, think back to the 90s with NSYNC, and then they have some songs in here with NSYNC, and just the whole band actually being in this movie. It was great to actually see, and just the voice cast. I think they did a great job of actually having the different cast here. And I always enjoy Anna Kendrick as Poppy and Justin Timberlake as Branch, and just their chemistry and the way that Poppy just kind of lights up the world. Enjoy the family aspect of this film, and just how you never give up on your brothers, and you know, you can kind of kiss and make up kind of thing. The music was fun, and it was just a really cool film, and I would give it a 3.5 out of 5, as this was a really fun time, and I definitely recommend it. The fourth film that I actually watched at home, and that was on November the 28th. It is the comedy horror film Shaky Shivers. Now this film, it was directed by Sung Kang, and if that sounds familiar, he plays Hans in Fast and Furious, and this is his directorial debut. Now this film, it has 2 girls, Lucy and Karen, and they are at this abandoned camp, and they have this book of magical spells, and they're battling these universal monsters. Now the film, it starts off with them at this car, and their car is just at this abandoned camp. They actually get attacked by this person in a wolf mask, and this is actually one of the girls' crush named Eric. And they actually shoot him, and they apparently kill him. And then we get a backstory where the two girls, they actually work at an ice cream shop. And when they're at this ice cream shop, they have this owner named Bob, who is an older man that owns the ice cream shop. He goes away out of the shop and he lets them take care of the shop. They have this random witch that walks into the shop, and she puts a spell on one of the girls, and then they're cursed. And then we get back to the scene where they're in the car, and then apparently this boy that they shot and killed, he becomes a zombie. Now in this film, I will say that some of the practical effects are done really well. There's also some CGI in this film, which is not done well. This film, though, it really doesn't have a lot of horror, which was very disappointing. There is a lot of comedy in this film, but I don't think that it works, unfortunately. I enjoyed the girls' relationship. I think that's the strongest aspect of this film. But overall, the horror concept felt very flat. I felt like there wasn't a lot of progression in the story. It was a very slow movie. And I think at times some of the makeup is pretty good, and then other times it's not as good. And I just felt like it was a very goofy story where certain things aren't explained, and it kind of borrows certain things from other horror movies. Obviously, the magic little spell book that they have, and the fact that they're cursed. There was a lot really going on, but I don't really think everything really came together. I really was checking out by about the hour mark, and it's only 80 minutes. So if you can't hold my attention in 80 minutes, it's not a very good movie. So as far as a score for this one, I would give it a 1 out of 5, and I definitely don't recommend this one. So those are the 4 movies that I've seen lately. Let me know in the comments, have you seen any of these? And did you like them? Did you hate them? Did you just think they were kind of meh? And if you haven't checked any of them out, are you interested in checking any of them out? Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys on my next video.